Well, next is the Abbeville Christian Academy Generals hosting the Sparta Academy Warriors at home. Both teams 0-5, looking for their first win of the season. Sparta Academy drawing first blood here with a touchdown run from the quarterback from Sparta Academy. Now the Warriors tack on a 2-point conversion. Now facing an 8-point deficit, Abbeville Christian would respond with a touchdown of their own. Titus McCrate finds J.P. Sewell, who outruns the defense on a long run for a touchdown, and the Generals would not get the 2-point conversion, and the score is 8-6, as the Generals would go on to get their first win of the season, beating Sparta Academy 24-22.